Hello, and thanks for staying with us. Customs speaks on chartered airline operators in the country. Also on custom support, the siege of Nigerian Customs Service continue to speak on the happenings around the management and happenings also around the Nigerian custom operations in the country. Plus, more report. I am Igiseme Edie. Stay tuned. The customs under the leadership of the Contract General of the Nigerian Customs Service has generated trillions of naira into the Federation account. The service also intercepts goods worth billions of naira throughout the country. The CG continues its briefing with assembly members in Abuja.
I am going to respond to this one after the other. I would first take the chairman's comments on the issue of the budget of 2021 and the need to increase it from the 1.4 trillion to 1.679 trillion. Let me grab the indulgence of the chairman here to say the target set by the federal government every year is based on some parameters. Is not based on an ad hoc computation. First and foremost, the MTEF, which is the budget committee, sits down and look at and do a complete analysis, and then do a projection. And with our own officers, we also sit down and look at what is feasible that can be generated. And Mr. Chairman, I make haste to say this last year, 2020, we are lucky. Despite the COVID-19, we were able to garner this. But as at then, the African Free Trade Agreement did not come into place. African Free Trade Agreement has now taken effect from the 1st of January 2021. And that agreement is geared towards zero duty for all imports coming from member countries within Africa. Imports coming from countries within Africa is a significant percentage in the collection of duty we do. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, if you recall when Ngozi Owela was here, she made mention of the WTO agreement. That also has come into effect, and we are signatory to that treaty. What is also gearing to us is zero duty to the import of member countries. So if we take this into consideration, Mr. Chairman, and I also want to say here that the COVID that we are praying assiduously that COVID subsides. The vaccine is getting on and very well, although many Nigerians are shying away from it, from what I gather. But hopefully, very soon it will pick up and most of us will be vaccinated and protected against this pandemic. But we must also make sure you understand that a lot of industries outside Nigeria have suffered tremendous injuries with regards to the COVID. So picking up and really producing and of course for our own people to be able to buy these things will take a longer time. So putting all this together, Mr. Chairman, and then when we look at the target, we would crave the indulgence of this committee to understand that we rather tread on fair ground than to be in a haste. We need to take it slowly. 1.4, the last time when the COVID came into place, the government decided to reduce that budget to 1.3 trillion. By God's grace, we were able to get 1.5 total collection. So it is also our hope that if we get anything above 1.4, it will reflect in the collection. But I don't want us to set the target too high And then at the end of the day, we find it difficult to meet, and we feel somehow that we have not been able to perform. But there are variables, intervening variables, that I want you to take into consideration. And these agreements, when they fully take effect, they are really going to eat much in our own collection, because there will be zero duties, and we cannot enforce it beyond that. We must allow these things to come at that level. So, Mr. Chairman, I want you to take this into consideration in taking a decision as to what amount should be. And I feel that we should return to 1.4, and if anything, in the course of the year, allows us to collect anything more than 1.4, it will be reflected just like it was reflected in 2021. But I don't want us to be too ambitious, only to fall far short of what is expected. I think the morale of the officers will be sustained if we are able to either meet the target or equal the distance. But if we begin to fall far below because the target is set so high, then there will be a problem. So I appeal that we look at these variables and consider the issue of raising the budget, the target to 1.6. We will return to 1.4, and I assure you anything collected beyond 1.4 will be reflected just like it is reflected in 2020.
The Nigerian Customs Service has continued to train officers in all various fields of operations in the country. Some officers trained in all customs colleges in Nigeria, while some are trained in-house by various commands in the country. The training school in Abuja has also trained various officers within and outside the country. The commandant has this to say on the training formula at the Customs College in Abuja.
If I take it from the basics, the college was designated or has been designated as a regional training center for West and Central African region of the World Customs Organization. So when it was commissioned in 2011, the Secretary General of the World Customs Organization, Kunio Mukuria, when he was actually impressed with the structures that he saw, he requested then that this should serve as a regional training center at the college. And the request was granted immediately by the CG then, late Diko Abdullahi, and the college has functioned then as a regional training center. So we've hosted several regional programs, regional training programs, organized by the World Customs Organization, organized by other international bodies like the UN, AU, ECOWAS, GIZ. So this has actually gone beyond Nigeria. We have a center that is devoted solemnly to that. And beyond the region, I remember that in 2019, the chairperson of the World Customs Organization, who was then the head of Customs Administration of Uganda, paid a visit, to Nigeria, and essentially, he came to the college to interact with the officers and directing staff after delivering a lecture on modern customs administrations and things like that. And because of the kind of this relationship, our African study tour in the college, which we do annually, we go to some African countries. Last year we were in Benin, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Kenya, and those 4 African countries. The year before we were in Ghana, Cameroon, Niger, and one other country. So through this study tour, we are also able to get contact, networking with our colleagues. We're learning from them. They are also learning from us. And we produce research work that we believe will be useful not only for the Customs Administration of Nigeria, but also for other customs administrations in Africa.
You are watching the program, Customs Report. The Customs has continued to promote a better working relationship with good importers and agents all over the country. The acting ACG headquarters made a statement in Abuja. He commended the management and stakeholders for a good working relationship with members of the Nigerian Customs Service. around the service.
To Nigerians. For example, if you take the air wing unit of the service, we have a number of aircraft, such as helicopters, that we do aerial patrol and gather intelligence around the country. Two, the anti-money laundering unit, you find members of that unit or officers of that unit deployed to all international airports and major entry and exit points. The main function of that unit is to monitor, register currencies going in and out, and render such reports on weekly basis to the office of the ACG headquarters. The printing unit, the unit is responsible for printing of all our files, documents, and any other publication of the service, such as files like this. This is equally a product of the printing unit, and with this, the service was able to save a lot of money. Imagine we are giving this thing out as contract to other printing press to print for us, we'll have to pay a lot of money. But we are doing this in-house, and it's equally assisting the service. Then the public relations unit. This unit is responsible for managing our information and other public relations issues between the service, the other medias outside. And under that unit, we have Nigerian Customs Broadcasting Network, we have a television station, we have radio station, and they are all digital. You can tune to the radio on the net. You can equally get it on FM. Then the television, you see most of our activities. This one is being coordinated by the PR unit.
The Deputy Controller in charge of Public Relations of Nigerian Customs Service has been speaking on the operation of private charter aircraft in Nigeria. The Nigerian Customs Service will continue to promote any good working relationship with them as long as all their aircraft are brought into the country with good and proper documentation.
Why this pronouncement this time around?
You see, in these days of security challenges and economy, global economic meltdown and all that, anything that can be done to fine-tune our strategies, to be sure of who owns what and what aircraft was imported into this country on a private basis should be done. And as an agency that is statutorily empowered on issues of importation and exportation, the service has directed that all private aircraft owners in the country come forward with their documents, import clearance documents and all other supportive documents for verifications between 7th June to 6th July, which is exactly 1 month at the Customs Headquarters, Tariff and Trade Department, room 305. we expect that they come with their import clearance documents and other supportive documents like the aircraft certificate of registration, the NCAA's flight operations compliance certificate, the NCAA's maintenance compliance certificate, the NCAA's permit for non-commercial flights, and temporary import permit where applicable. The whole essence is to, as I said, check what private aircraft operates and who owns what, and whether all the requirements have been met strictly. Well, we are happy. We are continuously on the rise. Our revenue generation has always been on the increase. Already within 5 months of this year, we are noticing tremendous increase over and above what was collected in the same period last year. Between January and May, which is 5 months, we already have generated 806 billion, 945 million, 516,734 naira. Now, when compared to the same period last year, we have a positive difference of over 226 billion. So it's on the increase, and this is likely so because of strict adherence and implementation of all extant regulations, strategic deployment of officers and men, robust automation of our processes. These days, most of the clearance procedures are done online in such a way that person-to-person contact that usually would give rise to occasions of compromise are reasonably eliminated. Robust stakeholder sensitization, and we are also happily noticing some inclination, to compliance by some of our stakeholders. Level of compliance is on the rise. We thank these stakeholders for their compliance, and we urge others to join the new era of doing the right thing.
The Federal Operation Unit Zone A has intercepted containers of unprocessed wood from importers. Decision was made and approved by Customs Management in Abuja. The unprocessed woods were about to be smuggled outside the country, according to the custom boss. So that the seizures of the assorted items being smuggled into the country was done through the unapproved routes by criminal-minded businessmen who, according to him, were bent in sabotaging the nation's economy.
Fertilizer. That should tell you the danger with the smuggler. It's not only rice, not only contrabands they have been carrying. They are at the same time fond of carrying out fertilizer from here to the Republic of Benin.
He said that the breakdown of the seizures include 727 cartons of unregistered drugs, 28 units of smuggled used vehicles, and 237 bales of second-hand clothing, plus 20 cartons of tramadol.
From distance or closer, you may think this is some clothes, other personal effects. They are not. This is what is inside. You see the danger of smuggling and the smugglers. And we are always there, and we'll continue to monitor them to see that their objectives, their mission is being defeated by us.
The unit also impounded the vehicle carrying suspected smuggled cannabis, including 2 suspects arrested by the customs. through the unapproved route. He said that with a series of seizures, one would have expected a reduction in their activities. He said the customs will continue to put smugglers out of business. The federal operation in this Zone B has again intercepted goods worth millions of naira for smugglers who are trying to bring in consignment not approved into the country. The customs controller in charge of Zone B has this to say on smuggled items seized by his command.
The unit was able to intercept 1,075 packs of tramadol, valued at 26,357,441 kobo. We also intercepted and got 314 parcels of cannabis, popularly known as Indian hemp. The value of this illicit product stands at 13,194,543 naira 74 kobo. Out of these 314 parcels, 187 parcels was transferred to NDLE with 2 suspects. Why I decided to transfer this at the first stage, because of the presence of the suspect, so that it will enable the NDLE to continue action to ensure the source of this illicit product. The 147 parcels is what you will see down, and is what we will transfer at a later time to the officers of NDLE. We also have a very peculiar one that we have not been coming across: 333 cartons of foreign Alfeca Magic Love. This is a product that is popularly known as shisha. This shisha is a controlled product. I came to do an approved route, and therefore it became liable for us to arrest it. We also have 108 bales of second-hand clothing, valued at 16,132,095 naira no kobo. Equally, in the course of our patrol duties, the unit was able to intercept 507 cartons of pharmaceutical products. These pharmaceutical products are products that came through unapproved routes, and they are not having the required NAFDAC regulation. You know, it's an offense in this country for anybody to embark into importation of pharmaceutical product without permit, without being regulated by NAFDAC. So these cartons will be subjected to a thorough check to ensure that they do not fault the NAFDAC requirement. We also have 670 cartons of foreign spaghetti and macaroni, valued at 3,983,354 naira 30 kobo. Classically too, we have got 428 bags of foreign parboiled rice. You see it as we go down there. This rice was valued at 15,442,582 naira 50 kobo. Customs Service will have a system of disposing items that are seized. That is done by the Controller General of Customs in Abuja. Some of them are auctioned out using our electronic system. Others will go to IDP, internet displaced persons, like the youth cloth, like the rice, like the vegetable oil. Those that are too perishable, they are auctioned direct to IDPs wherever they are. So I want to call here. Throughout the nation, we have public relations officers seat. Anybody who wants to import any particular item, please, I will urge him to go to customs and ask for those things that are not allowed to come in and those that are not supposed to come in. Ignorance, they say, is not an excuse to a law. All are expected to ask questions. Come to customs information wherever you find yourself. Ask questions. I want to inform this. Is it legal for me to do it? I want to do this. Can I do it? You get the right answer.
Just before I round up this week edition of the program, Customs Report, we brought you a report where just what billions of naira was intercepted by Nigerian Customs Service in the western zone of the country. For me, Igeseme Edine, thanks for watching.